can't really tell the story of Jewish life in the South without telling the story of the Leo Frank case. My name is Sandy Berman, and I'm the archivist at the William Bremen Jewish Heritage Museum in Atlanta. In 1913, a little girl by the name of Mary Phagan, 13 years old, wanted to collect her pay at the National Pencil Company. She goes to the pencil factory, collects her pay, and the last person who admits to seeing her alive is the pencil factory superintendent, Leo M. Frank. Mary Phagan comes in, he admits to giving her pay, and that is the last time anybody really admits to seeing Mary Phagan alive. She's discovered in the early morning hours that day by the night watchman Newt Lee in the basement. He immediately calls the police come, they march through the basement of the pencil factory, literally destroying the crime scene, and discover that it is indeed a white child by the name of Mary Phagan. After the police investigate numerous people who were at the pencil factory that day, they zero in on Leo Frank. The key witness against Leo Frank is Jim Conley, a man by the name of Jim Conley, who's the sweeper at the pencil factory. While Leo is in custody, somebody reports that Jim Conley was seen washing out a bloody shirt. Conley, when he was questioned by the police, changed his story 3 times. What he described at the police headquarters was that Leo Frank was really a womanizer, that he accosted young girls at the factory on a regular basis. He says that on this particular day, on this particular Saturday, like a lot of Saturdays, he had asked Conley to stand as a lookout for him at the factory, and that he was going to have a little meeting, a rendezvous with Mary Phagan. Something went wrong, and Leo kills Mary Phagan. At which point, Leo Frank then asks Conley to help dispose of the body. Jim Conley becomes the key witness for the prosecution, and his testimony at trial really is the key point of the trial. It rests on whether the defense can break Conley on the witness stand. Well, Jim Conley stuck to his story. He just stuck to his story. The jury ultimately believes Conley, and the jury's only out for a short time and comes back with a guilty verdict. Leo gets sentenced to death. He's taken back to the city jail. The appeal process starts. It takes most of 1914, goes through all the state courts, the appellate courts, and eventually there's no more recourse all the way to the Supreme Court. That appeal is also denied, and at this point it's left up to Governor Slayton to make a decision. It falls into his hands. Does he commute the sentence or let it go? So he commutes his sentence from death to life in prison. The night before he announces the commutation, Leo's scurried off by train to the state prison farm in Milledgeville. A conspiracy is being brewed in Marietta. A conspiracy of the men who are really the most prominent individuals in Marietta. You have a judge, you have attorneys, you have big manufacturers, and these are really the elite of Marietta who decide that the sentence of death should have been carried out, that this was a total miscarriage of justice, and they decide to take the law into their own hands. So they conspire with the State Prison and Paroles Board. They drive to the prison, they cut telephone wires, they don't have to fire one shot. They go into the dormitory room, or the room where Leo Frank was being held, and Leo was taken out. He was driven back to Marietta, and he was lynched.